Okay, so, what is your name?
Judy Winkler.
Okay, how old are you and how long have you lived in Caldwell County?
I'm 69 and I've lived in Caldwell County all my life.
Okay, and, where and when were you born?
I was born in Blackwelder Hospital in Lenore.
If you could, in detail, kind of describe to us what your childhood was like and all that.
I was born while my father was in World War II, and I was 2 years old before he came home, and we lived with uncles and aunts and my grandmother and different people till he come home. And then they had a little place in Dry Ponds, and we had chickens and a cow, and we had chores to do, and we had time to play, but we had to carry our own water. Daddy would come home for work in the evenings, and we'd get in a boat that he had made and go fishing.
That sounds like fun.
And then he hunted squirrels and rabbits, and that was the meat that we mostly ate. And we had a garden and we grew our own vegetables, and every fall they slaughtered pigs and Mama would can the meats, and that's what we lived on for quite a while during the year, and we had a happy time.
So tell us about your mom and dad. You mentioned them when you was telling us about your childhood.
Well, Mama worked in the mills, and when Daddy came home from the war, he had trouble finding the jobs as there were so many military men coming back, and that's all I can think of right now.
Okay, what was your mom like?
Mama was a hard worker. She was a homemaker. She made her own curtains. She made all of our clothes that we wore. And when Daddy got feed from the meal to feed the animals, Mama would have him to get sacks that kind of matched, and she'd make our dresses and other things out of them. And okay, that's it for that.
What was your best memory of your mom and dad that you can remember?
Mom was from the mountains, and she and Dad got married when he was 19 and she was 18, and they were kind of simple people, but they were hard workers, and they worked hard enough to save to build their own house and send us to school. And they liked to travel after we got older and go to the mountains a lot, and we went to different places to see different things. And every time a new innovation came along, Mama always liked to try it, and she always liked to dress up and wear hats and gloves and jewelry, and Daddy didn't. He was just casual.
What was your favorite activities as a child, and what was that?
Well, when we were old enough to really have activities, up till that point, children stayed outside the house most of the time, and especially in the summer. You weren't in the house because there wasn't anything to do in there. And we'd listen to the radio. I remember the Green Hornet and the Squeaky Door, and Mama had a couple of soap operas that she liked to listen to. and country music was played quite a bit. And then when we grew a little bit older, I enjoyed playing softball and swimming and roller skating, and I enjoyed playing on the school softball team, and that's about what I did.
What do you mean by when you were old enough to do activities and all that?
Well, when you were, until you got up about 10, 11, 12, then you were old enough, to join in, like play softball, or join in like a team sport, or when we were in Roadhead School, we had a glee club, and I enjoyed singing in a glee club, and we had PTA programs and programs at school, and we did plays, and it's just you have to be a little bit older to be able to understand and join in and do things.
So what did you do before you were around that age?
What our mom and dad told us to do. We had a lot of chores around the house, and that's mostly what we did. And when we didn't have to do our chores, we just played outside, cowboys and Indians, and I just had fun keeping up with my brothers. And Daddy tied an old tire on a tree limb, so we swang and climbed trees. And of course, we enjoyed going fishing with Dad. It's just everyday life.
Which one did you like, being a cowboy or an Indian?
Whichever one my brothers would let me be.
Were they older than you? Or?
Yes, one brother's a year older and the other is 3 years older.
Oh, what are their names?
Tom and Jerry.
I love that show. Well, where did you go to high school at?
Well, my freshman year I went to Granite Falls High School, and then Daddy built the house we live in now in Bumtown, and we moved over here in '59, and I started 10th grade at Hudson High School and graduated from there.
What high schools did they have back then that are not here today, or are they the same high schools today?
Well, Hudson High School is no longer there. It's now Hudson Middle School, and Granite Falls High School is no longer there. It's Granite Falls Middle School, and Lenore High School is no longer there. It's West Caldwell.
Were there any rivalries between those schools?
Oh, the biggest one was between Granite Falls and Hudson.
So it's still the same?
Oh, yes.
Things don't change that much, do they?
No, not really.
Has the sports departments of the schools changed that much?
Yes, it was a different time, a different age. To me, it seemed more like a more innocent age than it is now. You were able, if you were capable of playing, and you did your best, and it showed up the best, you played. And it seems like now it's more who your parents are or how much money you have as to according to whether you get to, how much you get to play.
Yeah, seems like it. Did you play any sports yourself? Because you said earlier you played softball.
Oh,
Did you
yes.
play that in high school?
I played, no I didn't. I played softball when I was in the 7th and 8th grade at Roadhouse. And we played at Hudson and Granite and Dudley and Grace Chapel. And it was a really, really good time. Especially because you got to get out of school to go.
I'm pretty sure everybody loves getting out of school early. How's school different from today in Caldwell County?
Well, to start with, we had prayer every morning, and the ones who did not wish to participate could go outside the classroom until the prayer was over. We had the Pledge of Allegiance, and the subjects were more or less basic, And I don't think nowadays there's as much emphasis on the basics. They have too much extra activities that they count as basics, which doesn't amount to very much. I don't think the kids have enough emphasis on the math, reading, writing, and the basic histories and social studies as they used to. And half of the people, I don't think they even know who our first president was.
But you said earlier that you did prayer before school started. When did they take into effect that you couldn't have prayer?
I'm not exactly sure. It was when my children were in school, I believe, or started school. And one little atheist just messed up everything for everybody.
When did you graduate high school?
I graduated in 1962.
Did you go to college?
Not at that time. I knew that my mother and father couldn't afford to send me to college, and nobody explained to me what a scholarship was. So I didn't even consider it.
Okay. Is that the only reason you didn't go?
That's the only reason I didn't go. I'd love to have gone.
What did you do instead of going to college? Did you get a job or something?
Yes, my first job was secretary in the advertising department at Merchants Distributors, and it was a very versatile job, and you did a lot of different things on different days, and it was very enjoyable, and you learned a lot.
Did you like that job?
Oh, yes.
Was it because you learned a lot, or what specifically did you like about it?
I enjoyed the atmosphere. I enjoyed the people that I work with. Plus, we got a discount on anything that Merchants Distributors carried, and we got good insurance, and we got a raise about every year.
Is that company still around here?
Oh yes, Merchants did MDI.
Of course. So when did you meet your husband?
My husband's name is Claude, but we always call him Heavy. And I met him at my 17th birthday party here at my home. Mama gave us a birthday party, and he came and we kind of got acquainted, and we dated off and on for 4 years.
What was his name, Heavy, or his nickname?
Well, when he was born, he weighed 12.5 pounds, and his daddy just nicknamed him Heavy, and it stuck.
So he's had that all his life?
Yes.
When did y'all actually get married?
We got married in 1965.
And how long have y'all been together?
Well, my husband passed away almost 4 years ago, but up till then we were married 44 years.
That's pretty good. And the whole time you and him knew each other, what was y'all's best memory together?
Well, you would think it was when we were young, but the one thing that I remember most was we were both diagnosed with cancer in 2005, pardon me. And the year after that, when we were going to have our anniversary, our children got together and gave us a surprise wedding anniversary party at our church. Invited all our relatives and family, and it was really enjoyable seeing everybody, and it was a happy time.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, you were little, but you were there.
Yeah, I think I remember that. When did you have your first child together?
Okay, our first child was Kelly, and he was born in 1967.
When did you have my dad?
Oh, Alan was born in 1969, and then Annette in 1970.
So in total, you have 3 children.
Yes.
Okay. What's your your favorite memory with your children? Excuse me.
Oh, gee, there's so many. Can we come back to that one?
Yeah, that's no big deal. What was it like for your kids to grow up in this decade, and what was it like for them, if you can?
Well, when my children were in school, I did a lot of volunteer work, and I was kind of aware of everything that was going on and a lot of the changes that were made, and seems like every year things change. They were teaching different books, and I got so frustrated one year that my daughter brought home homework and she couldn't find an answer to the question, and I read the whole chapter and tried to answer the question for her to help her out, and I couldn't find it. So she asked the teacher, and the teacher couldn't even find it. So that's what kind of books instead of the good basic books, that's the kind of books that started coming through. And I don't know, things just, I couldn't agree with a lot of it.
That's what happened to me one time. Did you enjoy being a mom?
Yeah, except when I threatened to run away once in a while. Being a mom is hard work, and it's also fulfilling, and it's also fun because a lot of times you get to be a kid again and do things that normal adults don't do. And then you get to experience different things, and I enjoyed going on field trips with the kids to see things that I never was able to see, but just watching them grow and develop. And what's really fun is if you have a dozen kids, there's not going to be any two alike. Everybody has their own personality, and you keep looking to see what's going to develop with your child.
Kind of like a snowflake. No, snowflake looks
yeah.
the same. What was it like when you got your first grandchild and you figured out you was a grandma?
Almost like being a mother again. And it's nice because you get them for a while and you enjoy them, and then you don't have to discipline them as much as you did your own children, and you have to get to spoil them a little bit, but not too much, but just enjoy being with them.
Who was your first grandchild?
My first grandchild was Tyler.
My brother?
Yes.
What's your favorite memory with your kids?
Oh, gee whiz.
Got so many, it's hard to decide.
Each one's got different things, and let's come back to that one.
Okay, actually, how many grandchildren do you have?
I have 8 in all the way from 21 to 11.
What's most important to you in life?
Family. Family is first. Family, loyalty, trust, all the things that I've tried to teach my children.
Okay, if you could relive one part in your life that was your favorite, what would it be?
One favorite thing. One favorite time? I guess it when I was around 14. That's the time you're kind of growing up and you're a little bit older and you're able to do a few things like go skating, which I wasn't allowed to do before, even though my brothers did. And I was given a little bit more responsibility as far as you know, having a little bit of money and learning what to do with it. But it's a time where you can enjoy sports, enjoy boys, even though you can't date yet, experimenting with makeup and things like that. And then you have your mom, your dad, your grandparents, your aunts, your uncles, and there's always somebody around, and plenty of cousins and friends. Do whatever, you know, your parents allow you to do, and yet it was just kind of like a freedom. Things you don't have when you get older and have to start getting more responsibility.
I'm sure some people might be interested in this who are listening. What were the cosmetics like back then? Did they have what they have today?
Well, not as many, and probably not as good, but you had your powder puff and cosmetic case, and some girls like to put on eyeliner. It was back then too. I like mascara, although I couldn't wear it very well because it brushed up against my glasses and caused a smudge. And lipstick, and it was like pulling a leg to get Daddy to allow me to wear lipstick. And but you didn't go out with too much on. Mom thought of that.
Going back, what was your favorite memory with your grandchildren?
Okay, my favorite memory with my grandchildren, or has been for the past, well, ever since they were born. Every year our family always gets together on Christmas Day to have a meal and open gifts. And it's fun to watch the children every year as they grow up, and everyone changes into their own little person. And it seems like this past year was it was the best one ever, because the grandchildren are older and they have their own friends that they sometimes bring, and we sometimes play games or just fool around and throw paper.
That was fun.
It was a wrapping from the gifts, and I think my children kind of regress back to childhood then too. But it gets better every year.
I actually liked it past Christmas. Or throwing everything, all the paper around at each other.
And the other day I still found some paper behind some things in there when I was
cleaning. Was it behind
cleaning.
the couch where Tyler and
No, it was over on the little whatnot shelf back there.
I remember everybody was trying to throw it at Annette. Dad. That was fun. That was.
Yeah.